Behavioral change consultant Yohance Ayodike joins me yet again for Mental Health Matters, a new discussion for today, Thursday. And Yohance is saying this morning, Peekaboo, Peekaboo. What going on here? Peekaboo, Yohance. Peekaboo, we're looking forward. I have no idea where we're going, but I'm ready for you. I'm willing to go.
All right. Morning, Jason.
Good morning.
Good morning to everyone. All right. So the game Peekaboo, when you play with a child, you cover your face, and then the child thinks they disappear.
Yeah.
Right? And then when you remove your hands, the child realizes you're there, and you can keep going that way, and it's entertain the child. Now, the child thinks you disappear because at that stage of their cognitive development, they haven't developed something called object permanence. Right? So once you can't see it, you think it no longer exists. Now, I bring in that because some people play peekaboo with us, some people play peekaboo with themselves, and some people play peekaboo in other aspects of their lives, meaning they know it exists, but because they can't see it, they pretend it do exist.
Wow, what a interesting development there, Yohance. So, give me an example, something that you would have noticed through your practice. One of the common denominators with us humans, where is this something to probably wait? Could be one of the trigger vibes within this.
Well, let me give you an example. In my practice, and this one is a serious one, in families, when there are instances of abuse, people pretend it don't exist. So I ain't seeing it, I ain't talking about it. So therefore, in their mind, it do exist and it shouldn't exist to anybody, even the victims. Right? Now, this is for me a little worse than peekaboo with a child, because at least with a child, they haven't developed the skills yet. But we as adults, we develop the skill, but then we pretend it don't exist. So it's almost like you're playing peekaboo with yourself. And then the people who it is done to, they now develop cognitive, even emotional difficulties, because they know it exists, but if everybody around them pretending it do exist, sometimes even wonder, did this thing really even happen to me?
Is this like a self-coping mechanism to play peekaboo with yourself on major issues, to almost, not address it, to leave it alone, to not confront, a particular development? I mean, honestly, if I look at my own life, I'm not non-confrontational, and I tend to sometimes, honestly, not address, just leave it, let time heal it, and that's been kind of my safety button. But I guess from what you're saying here, that might not always be the best approach.
Correct, because a coping strategy is a temporary measure. So let's say something traumatic happened, something unexpected, and you're not sure how to deal with it. So you develop a coping mechanism like the peekaboo. Okay, right now, I know it exists, but I can't deal with it right now. I don't want to deal with it right now. But that's temporary because the thing still exists. Object permanence, it is still there. So pretending it's not there will make things worse because it still would be affecting you, or it still is there to be addressed.
How does one try to break this particular mold, especially in the context of a relationship, a romantic relationship? Sometimes where, there is that call from a partner for the next one to step up, to probably communicate more, but the other person kind of really not willing to come to the table. That's been kind of one of a major issue for me going through the years, and I look back at relationships.
Well, once something exists, it do ever just disappear, right? Think about it like a feather. A feather, if you hold a feather in your hand, it's light, right? But if you hold it there for 5 minutes, your hand will start to go down.
Yeah.
And your hand, and 10 minutes.
The hand will feel heavy.
Right. But the weight of the feather is the same way. So even if you have a small problem, and you do address it, it becomes heavy over time. Because even what you said, they said sometimes time heals things, which is true, but on the other end, if you're not addressing it, time makes it heavier, even if it's something small, and it inflates into something heavy.
Do you think there are people who, and I want to just go back to that time heals argument, do you think there are people who are able to put things in compartments? What's the word?
Compartmentalize.
Right, and you put it away, literally lock it up and move on from it? Probably self-heal. Is Is that even something possible?
That'll work, you know. Think about it. If a physical compartment, if you put something in a cupboard, it's still there, you know.
Still there, yeah.
If you understand what I'm saying, it's still there. And let's say it stay there for years and then we actually throw it away. Christmas just passed, so plenty of people throw away things for Christmas. You don't realize you just feel a little lighter, even though cognitively you forget about the item. When you clear it out, something about it is feel lighter.
You know, they would say outer side, outer mind, huh? That's a kind of famous saying, and there are a lot of people who operate under that particular premise.
Outer side, outer mind, yes, but once there's an emotional attachment, it's still subconsciously there.
Wow, Peekaboo, you know, wow. I won't lie, this, you took it a different direction here. Because I was trying to analyze, I wonder what you want to say, what direction was the angle?
What I would add is, don't let people peekaboo you also. Because
in what way?
If you know something is, let me say, we could go from small to large in our family. If you know there's an issue, because people block the face or trying to block your face, don't take the peekaboo because you know it exists. If you know it's something to address, you address it. If you're in a workplace, because nobody talking about it, that doesn't mean it still don't exist, because we are going back, object permanence. If it is not dealt with, it is still there. You use a relationship. If it's a romantic relationship, business relationship, anything. Because the other person wants to pretend it don't exist, doesn't mean you should do that also.
But I guess some people, again, because of an environment, whether it be the family environment, the work cultures, some work cultures, so toxic that especially young people coming into the space recognize, if you have that emotional and conversational intelligence, what the space is about, and you tend to adjust, and sometimes you stay out of the headlights, as it were. Hold your corner, do what you have to do, and you go home. But just recommending here that there are moments you should be able to, or at least find that courage to step up and speak out.
Courage to step up, yes. But if you realize, let's just say, if you speak up, it may be to your detriment in whatever way, then figure out a way to exit yourself from the situation.
Remove yourself.
Right? I mean, and let's say it's a job, it mightn't be something immediate. If it's a family relationship, it might be something immediate. But at least put in plans, because keeping it there, you ever hear this saying, death by 1,000 cuts?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. It's small cuts. It ain't doing nothing, but eventually you get enough cuts that it is detrimental to you.
You know, I go back to our infrastructural issues, and sometimes the potholes do they get something and pave, and I've noticed that, you know, they're doing, most times I'll highlight a particular hole and they will deal with it, but that is a peekaboo moment too, you know. When we look at how we will maneuver on the black carpet,
Jason,
we almost act like we don't see it, you know.
You wouldn't believe, this morning driving down, I was thinking about the same thing. Right?
Yeah.
I was like, we get so skilled now. Right? At maneuvering. Sometimes you could do it subconsciously. You know the pothole, you could even be talking and you still maneuver. But that in itself, that creates cognitive and emotional load, because that is still something you have to remember and avoid.
Wow. What's the closing argument for today's topic, Yohance?
Nation, don't play peekaboo with yourself. Don't allow somebody to put the wool over your eyes. And don't make life complicated, because even though life is not easy, it's really not that hard. Thank you for listening.
Peekaboo, interesting one indeed, Yohance, with another impactful conversation for today's mental health matters. We're going to come back and meet and greet the man behind the high fashion, the man behind the suits. Solomon's, of course, a name synonymous with top quality in the country. We want to, of course, welcome Abraham Hadid, owner of Solomon's. He's going to join us because you're seeing there, Vibes Cartel, World Boss. Solomon, apparently, I didn't even know. But Solomon was the man that dressed Cartel for his big concert we saw there in Jamaica, Freedom Street. And he would have dressed him also when he came for the press conference to launch his rum here in Trinidad a couple of weeks ago. Yes, Solomon's. He joins me live next.